Hello everyone, welcome to the orientation of IED Visual Arts School. My name is Vlad Stedman, I'm International Area Manager at IED Network. Today we have three guests, Carlotta Cattaneo, Coordinator of the undergraduate course in photography at IED Milan, Bob Liuzzo, Coordinator of the undergraduate course in graphic design at IED Milan, and Cecilia Fornari, student attending the second year in photography at IED Milan. First of all, let's start with a short introduction about IED Network. Istituto Europeo di Design was founded in 1966 in Milan, and today is the only higher education institution in the creative field to have maintained a completely Italian identity over time. IED is an internationally recognized network consisting of 11 campuses, 7 of which in Italy, in Milan, Cagliari, Florence, Rome, Turin, Venice, and Como, in Spain, Madrid and Barcelona, and in Brazil, Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Every year at IED, we launch innovative training projects in the fields of design, fashion, visual arts, communication, art and restoration, developing new forms of learning and designing new models for interpreting the future. According to this philosophy, IED assumes the identity of a research space, an open network, inclusive and active, able to teach and promote design culture for individuals and society. A place where the approach to design becomes a vehicle for social, cultural, and economic transformation. Design, fashion, visual arts, communication, art and restoration are united in IED by the common denominator of design culture and teaching methodology. During this presentation, we'll focus specifically on our visual arts school. In this field, we offer a wide range of programs taught both in Italian and English language. The courses offered in Italian language are computer-generated animation, graphic design, illustration and animation, advertising communication, media design, photography, sound design, video design. The courses in English language are photography and graphic design. In order to let you have a deeper understanding of IED Visual Arts School, we'll have a focus together with our coordinators, Carlotta and Bob. Before passing the word to them, I tell you that at the end of the presentation, we have a Q&A session. So you are invited to send your questions and we answer at the end. In case we don't answer to all your questions, don't worry, you'll be contacted in the next few days by our admission team. Now, let's pass the word to Bob and Carlotta, who are connected from the video shooting lab in our campus in Milan.
Thank you very much, Vlad, for giving us the line, and welcome everyone to the awesome video lab of the IED Milan campus. I am Bob Liuzzo, the coordinator of the graphic design course. And
I am Carlotta Cattaneo. I am the coordinator of the photography BA, English.
We are here, Carlotta, basically to explain a little bit more to our guest what is the field of the visual arts, right?
Exactly.
So let's start to explain that it's not just a single course. The Visual Arts School of IED, it's composed by different departments, different courses, as Vlad said to you. Graphic design, illustration, photography, they are not alone. Visual arts works all together because the world of today, of 2020, and especially the world that we're going to face in the future, it's a mixture of professional figures. Because in the past, graphic design was more related to printing, photography maybe just to shooting. Now there is a hybrid approach where video maker and photographer work together. We make also our students a lot of projects together, especially in photography and graphic design. when we make books or when we work for social networks, maybe graphic designer have to care about the layout and stuff, and photographer going to create the contents and give the language of the composition. Sure. What do you think about the multi-disciplinary approach? Give me your opinion.
Well, I guess
also.
This is the strength of our school. Actually, the School of Visual Arts presents such a great variety of professionals, and giving the students the opportunity to collaborate, and so fostering collaborative practice within a protected environment such as the school is, surely it's a great training to prepare for future. So I guess it's the greatest opportunity that all of our students have, regardless of which specific study plan they just decide to pick up. So we have several explanations and several examples of projects that we've been able to develop together, not just as taking part in the output, but just, like creating and generating the idea together, which is...
And especially the main focus, it must be on technologies, because nowadays design has become something related, of course, always to the concept, but we have new technology emerge. This is the reason why in the visual arts school there are courses like media design, interaction design, or sound design, because someone one day said, especially when we talk about video making, motion design is 90% sound design.
Yeah.
So, and the most important part is that all these cores works together. They are interconnected for making a good mobile application, or for making a more artistic approach to photography. Nowadays, we are connected to the new technology. So after 50 years, we can say all the profession in the field of visual art changed a lot. But we try to always be updated on technology from one side, trend from the other side, but most important, our students are specialized in some field, but they know since the first year they put their feet inside the school that it's not an alone job. They have to collaborate with different kind of visual artists and visual designer that know technology better than them, or they can help you with implementing something that is not more just on paper, but is going to be on screen or a video mapped on a building. So the approach of the school, of the visual art faculty, it's the aim of the faculty, it's to sending out different profiles, different figures that's going to work together and complete a circle, be able to shape the future of visual communication. Someone gonna think it's just drawing somehow, it's just pressing a button on the camera, but the reality is that we are surrounded by visual communication, and the only way to avoid it is spend our life in a blindness method, and no one wants to do it.
Absolutely.
So I think we can have a more specific focus now on the 2BA coordinated by us. Yeah. And you first on photography BA.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Well, just running back to exactly what you were saying, I definitely have to say that like the digital revolution reshaped the role that photography had in modern society. So our challenge was actually the one to reimagine the role of a next generation photographers for the future. And I'd like to say, once again, going back to how we actually conceived this whole study plan for the School of Visual Arts, that our approach to photography is as round as possible. We try to present in our study plan, we try to present subjects that go like from technical and those that we actually issued you in this amazing facilities that you are able to see now, and laboratory practice, of course. But at the same time, we have like a great variety of cultural and practical subjects, and those are necessary to foster and to broaden the vision of our students. Because as Bob said before, it's not just pressing the shutter, like being a photographer now is understanding the whole environment that you are living in, and being able to grab inspiration from what's happening around you, from fashion trends, from what happens in the world. So like photojournalism, for example, and that's why we try to present this amazing variety of subjects, and we try to make them interact with one another so that one student can really have a round vision of the possibilities of the photographer of the next generation. And for this reason also, I would like to talk about careers, because I always get asked about the future, what's after school. And of course, photographers are very likely to become freelancers, but this is not necessarily a bad thing, especially now. Like we see that, once you can provide yourself your own work, maybe this option is a plus for the future. And our careers actually span from photographers that are able to deal with the most, let's say, commercial-oriented assignments that goes from advertising to fashion to lookbooks and whatever we can call commercial photography. But also we have photographers that are extremely capable to deal with research, and so they apply their knowledge of photography to multiple subjects that apparently doesn't really have anything to do with photography. We had graduates that developed thesis projects on biology, on psychology. So it's just about, it's like conceiving photography as a visual language. So like we do with words, we can do with pictures. And but the variety of our study plan and the strong presence of the cultural subjects actually allow our students and our graduates to pursue different kind of careers also. So not just being photographers, but also decide to work alongside photographers and artists. And so we have graduates that became curators, we have graduates that became critics, some others became galleries or photo retoucher or independent publishers. So we have many of them. We have photo editors. I could, speak about many of them and introduce a lot of profiles, but I'm sure it's not the right time now. But this cross-disciplinary approach, as Bob was saying before, it's what we really aim for, and the possibility to be a strong expert in your own field, but at the same time knowing the language of the people around you that work in the same creative field and creative ground, which is huge, which is extremely broad, and being able to understand language, times, and needs of the person you collaborate with, and being able to generate idea together. So this is what we can say about photography, and I'm sure Bob can go in depth about the graphic design English department, which we collaborate with a lot.
Yes, thank you, Carlotta. And again, I always love your explanation of photography. I'm not good as you are to explain graphic design, I'm pretty sure. But in this moment, we are seeing also some of the project we have on the table. It's very difficult to explain our course because it's not difficult to make design nowadays or to shoot a picture nowadays. The difficult thing is to be a designer, be a photographer, because let's be honest, nowadays photography become super easy to do with the tools we have, and graphic design too. What is difficult today is using the right software. That is the brain, A lot of people speaking about my course in graphic design, that again is not going to be an explanation super well like your explanation. It's very difficult nowadays because when we talk about graphic design, there is first of all a misconception that we have to erase from our mind. Advertising related just with advertising. Many people think that graphic designers just make advertising. This is in part true. It's not totally false because advertising can't exist without graphic design, and photography too.
Definitely.
But photography and graphic design exist very well without the necessity to sell you something, a new pair of shoes or a tomato can, or I don't know. So I bring some slides to try to explain, like I always love to make during my motivational call with students, a little bit better the graphic design course. So graphic design, it's first of all something that regard the composition of images and text. This is for sure. This is the reason why on the first year of the course, we try to set up your knowledge in making a layout, knowledge on typography. Nowadays it's more difficult because there is difference if you want to make people read a book or if you want to make people read a sign on a road in order they can be safe while they're driving a car. So when we talk about graphic design, we need to broke and decompose every field of graphic design. So I will try to make this trip by dividing the different field of graphic design. First of all, I would love, because I think it's something that explains very well that graphic design is not just advertising and selling, to make this example. Let's imagine you are in a big airport or a big train station, a big unknown space, and you need to move around this unknown space, or you are waiting for the train, you are waiting for the metro, for the bus. You're always looking your direction thanks to a graphical system that guides you through the space. This is called wayfinding. It's a composition of images, arrows, text reduced at the minimum, because as you know, in the airport, no one speaks the same languages. So we try to avoid the language barrier through the wayfinding system. Another field of graphic design, just to make you understand more deeply what we do, it's the data visualization. You know, we live in the era of data, from social network, from research, from any kind of things. Data are very complex to be understood by people. So this is the reason why the data visualization nowadays is one of the fields where we work the most. Data visualization could be reported online, could be printed on a magazine, could be printed on a newspaper, could be reported also in an unconventional way on brochure and stuff. But giving to the data a visual form, it means helping people to be more informed. And as you know, and I think these two examples already explained to us that graphic design don't just work with advertising, but it works also with information. And this is more important than try to sell you something. Another field of graphic design, for example, is when we work with UI and UX. These two terms, and this is a field where we work strictly related with photographer, but especially with media designer, it's the design of the interface for the object that we use every day. When we listen to this word, the UI, UX, they sound complicated, but it's just the acronyms for user experience and the user interface. It means how we use the word, because graphic design is not related on just what we see, but because we don't look the word just to observe what it's outside. We look the word finding a possibility of interaction, to use the word. So every time you use Facebook, or you go to withdraw money at your ATM, or you wanted to warm it up something inside your microwave, you follow a graphic design system that try to helping you to use that object in a better way, to use all the skills of that social network, to find in a faster way the news you are looking for on a website. So another field in a graphic design course is learning how to design experience interface, of course, from the graphic way, and then we work with media and interaction designer. When we talk about graphic design, another word open to us, of course, I don't talk about just graphic design, visual arts in general, especially when we work on brand design. Brand design, it's something where we work strictly related also with photographer, and we always say thank you to photographers that help brand have visual styles in terms of photography. Every time we see a shooting from a company, like, I don't know, let's suppose Apple Computer, also if we don't see the logo of Apple, we can understand it's an Apple communication thanks to the style of the photography of that product or the people. Brand design, someone I think is just designing logos. Of course, it's designing logos, but it's designing a complex system to make companies' product and service recognizable in an overcrowded market. It could be the logo is just the tip of the mountain. It's a matter of typography, collaboration with photographer, collaboration with video maker that give us the style of the animated identity of a company or a product. So in the graphic design field, we don't just design the logos of something, but we try to make an art direction of the overall visual tone of voice of a brand. When we talk about brand, of course, we have to jump and fly to another section. This other section is regarding packaging. I personally try to avoid any kind of useless packaging, and this is something that we try to teach to our students. In the past, packaging was something we don't care about, and we make amazing stuff, but in the last couple of years, we care about our world, so we try to reduce the packaging. As you know, packaging is not just to protect the products that we buy, but it's always also a way to make products able to answer our question. Yes, because we made a lot of questions to products. Let's suppose you don't know, but you make question also when you buy a pack of spaghetti. It seems crazy having question for pasta, but the first question is, dear spaghetti, how many time to cook you in a perfect way? Spaghetti have no voice to reply to you. So this is the reason why packaging is not just protect the product to make it easy to transport, but also a way to give information to people and differentiate a product from a similar product. This is something where all the visual artists works packaging. It requires a lot of technical knowledge, how to bend paper, how to treat materials, but also a lot of philosophic knowledge, anthropology knowledge on how people buy product in the stores that surround us. Another field where we're working a lot, for example, it's the field of, sorry, can you go back to the previous slide? Can you go back to the previous slide? I forgot to say something. In this slide, you can see all the projects made by our students. Just something very cool, it's the project that you see over there, the Lint project. It was made last Valentine's Day in collaboration with the real company Lint to make a new packaging as a gift for Valentine's Day. Can you go ahead? Okay, another things we have, it's for example, can you go to the next one, please? Motion design. I want to be quick, sorry if I jump to the next slide. Today, we talk about visual arts, and as you know, we have 7 courses. We have also video making. Video design is something that nowadays it's inside our pockets. We can take our smartphone, we can go in our desk looking at our computer, and animation, it's everywhere. In the past was very difficult. So nowadays, graphic design and all the visual arts have to face the ability to animate something. Let's suppose when you see a football match or any sport that you like, it's not just the match that you are looking for, but there is a lot of information to tell to the people that are watching that match. The score, how many minutes it's passed, or how many minutes remain till the end of the game. And so when we talk about graphic design and visual design nowadays, we always have to take into consideration what we call motion graphic. Motion graphic, it's on our movies, it's on our television, it's on YouTube, it's on our social network. So motion design nowadays, it's a field very important in graphic design in order to create not only animation, but also a possibility to give more experience. So after this quick introduction, I always love to say that graphic design and visual arts in general, it's not using softwares, you know, it's not using a good camera, it's not using good tools. Of course, all these tools make our job faster. But if you think design and visual arts in general nowadays, it's a good usage of Photoshop, Illustrator, or buying a good camera, an expensive camera that make a good picture, it's like saying that a journalist is a good journalist just because he have an expensive keyboard on the desk. The main brain nowadays is understanding people, understanding society, understanding the project, the company you're working with, understanding your surrounding colleagues. So graphic designers are not photographers, so they have to collaborate with photographer. When we animate, we are not animators, so maybe we need to call an illustrator or an animator. We have to refer to media designer, because after designing an interface, we need people able to code the interface. So visual arts, as I said at the beginning, surround us every day. It's a method. It's not a knowledge of tool. This is the reason why in our course, of course, we're going to teach you how to make a good picture, a good logo, a good poster, a good video, a good application. But most important, we're going to teach you the perfect method to understand what you need, and we give you the ability to produce what you need. In this last slide, I would invite all our guests to watch our behance.net account, where we try to collect a lot of projects from the Visual Arts School, and you're going to see a lot of multidisciplinary projects made out from graphic design student and photography student together, or media design student and graphic design student and photography student together, and you can read the link to Behance account in yellow on this slide. I think it was a good introduction to the course.
Well, yeah, I guess you went quite in depth of all the subject possible. And now I think that who better than a student can talk about the experience that he or she is living through these opportunities that we're giving out. So I'm really, really happy to have with us today Cecilia, which is a student from the second year of photography BA. She's an amazing student, of course, and she had a great experience in one of those that we call like special projects that are actually super wide cross-disciplinary project that make all the IED schools working together. So not just our School of Visual Arts, where the graphic design and photography department belong, but also the School of Design, the School of Communication, and the School of Fashion. So I'm really happy to introduce to you guys Cecilia, that she's gonna let you know about how does it feel to be a student in here.
Hello, Cecilia.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm here to talk about the project I participated in last year, so during my first year of IED, called Fare Project, which is a project born from the collaboration between IED and the global movement Fashion Revolution, which is this movement aimed at educating new generations about the topic of upcycling, which is basically the reuse of discarded objects or materials in such a way as to create another product of higher quality and value if compared to the original. So this was our aim, basically, and me and the other students who participated answered this open call, which, as Carlotta said, was open to all the schools in YES, so all the courses. And we created this very heterogeneous group, which was about 30, 40 people at the beginning. And starting with just ideas, basically everyone was asked to work on their own skills and bring their own perspective on the topic. So it has been a lot about creative freedom. For example, me, then I'm a photographer, I try to mix what I discard the most. So for example, archival photographs that I forget perhaps in some folders on my computer, and try to rethink what I could do with them. So not let ideas or images got like forget about in my mind and in my practice. So I would say that the outcome we did, mixing and merging all our experiences, was ultimately multidisciplinary. So this project lasted a lot. It actually lasted from February 2019 to September 2019. And it lasted this long because we had a lot of work to do, but also because we took on other workshops and the collaboration to enrich our project. For example, one with IED magazine that gave us full access to their physical archive. So again, this idea of reevaluating something that has been perhaps archived away. And we also had a collaboration with Levi's, the jeans company, that gave us 100 pairs of jeans that were labeled as not suitable for the market and for selling, and due to small production mistakes. And the fashion designers did this amazing job at creating new pieces with these denims. So the outcome we presented was presented during Milan Fashion Week this September, and it lasted 3 days. And a lot of people came to the event also thanks to our communication team, which was mainly made by communication students here at IED. And there are some pictures of the event in the reel beside me. And it's really difficult to just talk about it with words, because it was something that was more about experience and interaction more than just concepts. We made lots of different installations encompassing different topics and different devices. For example, the sound students reused old music tapes to create new sounds, to create new inputs. And I would say that it was a success, actually. A lot of magazines like Vogue and also IED wrote about us. And it has been really rewarding in a way. I wanted to start this experience mainly because since it was my first year, I wanted to meet new people, and it actually happened. I mean, thanks to this, I was able to collaborate even outside this project with a lot of students, which to me it was really challenging, and I mean, it was great in my opinion. So it was really great being part of this collective, and also this collective actually is going on. I mean, our group is still very close, and we're still trying to figure out new ways to tell our stories. And it's one of those experiences in which I would say the process has been just as valuable as the final outcome, if not more. And I would do it again, actually.
Well,
so yeah,
Cecilia,
thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that coming from you and addressed to people that are interested in taking the same path that you're actually walking on, it's a great testimony of the potential of our education and offering.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, and
I
thank you
have
for
just one question for Cecilia. May I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I love this project. I mean, I followed the project. I remember very well the
Yeah,
project.
it has been amazing.
Yeah, I know. And you guys and girls were awesome on this project. But I have a question. How do you feel? Okay, the final outcome are amazing, but what were your feelings on this project? Try to explain to our guests that maybe they want to study graphic design, they want to study photography, they want to study media design, and they can find a lot of information about the topic, but less information about the feeling of being a IED student. So I know it's a very difficult question, Cecilia, but I would like to ask you a feeling to be a IED visual arts student. Can you try to explain that?
So, sure. I think that for me, also working with other students and working with professionals here in IED that are our professors or our coordinator put me on the same level of really amazing people and like people with really good ideas. And for me, that was really important because as soon as I started this journey, I was still trying to figure out how to find myself in a way, professionally speaking. And being part of this group actually had me feeling like I was already belonging to the world I want to identify myself with. So for me, it has been really great for mainly this reason, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
That is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next time she can make the open day alone. There is no need.
But I just want to link back super quickly to one thing that she said that probably we just forgot to mention, but it's crucial. And she mentioned that coordinator, but of course all teachers and lecturers here are professionals, which means they actually work in the field that they teach into. So this is again, one of our core experience that we bring out to our students, because this gives them the possibility to just taste a piece of the reality that they want to be part of in the future. And this actually let them fail and then come back again up, and then eventually having someone that can just lead them, like in a sort of like protected environment, but at the same time with a strong connection with whatever it's happening, you know, outside of the school. And we're talking about Milano, which, as you know, it's a very fast and vital city. So there are several external outputs that actually we absorb within the school, and we try to give back to our students in order to develop experience.
Let me add that I love it that Cecilia used the word journey and not course, because this is not a course, this is not a BA, it's a journey. And I always love to say something that is wrong, not institutional. All our students are not here just to learn, because of course we are a school, you are here to learn, but they are here to steal from the teacher different methods that they're going to shape their own methods. So if you want to enroll to the school, be ready to learn, of course, but also to steal from every teacher, every lecturer that is not a lecturer, it's a professional designer, their own methods, their own strategy in order to shape your personal own strategy. So Cecilia, thank you very much. You was the core of this presentation, really.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Grazie mille.
Thank you.
And what you said was actually so true, because it's not just a matter of learning a profession, but it's also a matter of like shaping your personality and you know, kind of like training your temper and your ability to cope with all the side facts of just being a freelancer or a professional, or like whatever kind of role you're going to have in the field of visual arts. Because it's a network. It's about like creating network. It's about learning to know people and learning to talk to people and learning to steal from, you know, what's around you, whether
also your classmate, not just the lecturer.
But it's not just, you know, don't just misunderstand the word stealing, you know, it's just being open and being curious and being able to grab a hold of what you have around you and draw inspiration from, you know, the most, let's say, impossible things to think about. But
and there is something also, you have people that come from all around Italy and the world, so you have 3 years to spend your life in a melting pot of people with different vision, different culture. I want to come back what we said at the beginning. We try to find labels to photography, media design. Of course, they must be different courses, but we can admit that design nowadays is one. It's a big method. It's a big cooperation between professionals, field. They don't work closed, but they try to cooperate a lot in order to make a better world, not just to try to sell something or make something aesthetically cool, visually cool. We work for people. Every time you see a picture, every time you watch a photography exhibition, there is a story. It's not just what you see. This is the reason why one thing I have to understand that in visual arts, what you see is the 1%. What is the real important is the 90%, 99% that you never see. All the concept, the study, the research before producing a picture, before making an icon, before choosing a colors. And I think if this photography and graphic design are two of the historical course of the IED, they born 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago. And they always cooperate. They evolve together. And our students, they study in different study plan, but they're always connected through special project they are doing together, and a study plan that bring our student to become junior professional designer, not just a graduated student in photography or graphic design. Definitely. Being able to be inserted in the real world after the 3 years and start to working. I think we get long.
Yeah, let's see if we have any questions, because maybe, you know, like we're talking a lot because you are in charge of this, but it's really nice to get.
It's also because we are passionate about this topic,
you know. We could go on for hours, but just let's see if there's a feedback and if you have.
Let's come back to Vlad. Vlad, are you there? We give you the
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Cecilia, for the amazing testimonial. I believe we have few minutes until the end of the presentation, so let's jump directly to the Q&A session. We have one question for a student who is asking which are the courses taught in English language. where the ones in English language are photography and graphic design, just introduced to you by Bob and Carlotta. All the other courses are taught in Italian language. Then there's, I believe Cecilia's testimonial left an impressive mark on the audience, because there's a question for her. So, which is your best memory until now at IED as a student?
I think we still have Cecilia here, right?
Do we still have her?
Okay, so Cecilia.
So Cecilia, can you? There's a question for you. There's a question for you coming from our audience.
Yeah,
have you heard that?
No.
Okay.
Okay. What is your best memory at IED until now as a student?
What is your best
I'm
memory
still not
until
hearing.
now? What is your best memory until now as a IED student?
I think cooperating. I mean, I know it's probably banal to say it, but I did a scientific high school. So I was one of the few that actually wanted to do something more related to arts and to visuals. And entering in an environment in which most of them are like me, and most people want to do the same thing as me and have the same goals, to me is both challenging, but it's also really rewarding when it comes to collaboration. And probably one of the best memories is staying until late in the studio with my friends from the course and trying to figure out how to finish a series, an assignment. And I think it's really fun. I mean, I love what I do, so for me, it's the best part.
Okay.
Thank you, Cecilia. Yeah, we forgot to mention, if you want to enroll, you have to forget about sleeping for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Thank you, Cecilia. It's a very sweet memory.
But it will be rewarding anyway. So
yes, this is the reason why we avoid to sleep.
Exactly.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you again.
So, Vlad, we have any other question?
Yes, there's a question related to the admission procedure. So, how we structure the admission procedure for our undergraduate courses. So, it's very simple. It's done entirely online. So, as soon after you select the course you prefer, you apply online on our website. You will be contacted by one of our advisors, admission advisors, who will provide you with login credentials for the admission portal. Then you'll have to check the general entry requirements, so which are be proficient in the language of the chosen course. We ask for a B2 level of proficiency. Then hold an upper secondary school leaving certification. Not be enrolled in any other course in a university or institute. Be at least 18 years old by the end of the year in which the course starts, and comply with the admission and enrollment process. Then you have to upload the requested documents on the admission portal. So the admission form filled and signed, a copy of your ID, ID card for European citizens and passport for non-European citizens, copy of your high school diploma if already obtained, or an attendance certificate of the last year of your high school, copy of the school transcript translated in Italian or English, and a portfolio or project assignment. After receiving all your documents, there will be an academic evaluation. Then we check the language. There's a language assessment. So if you have an English language or Italian language certificate, you can provide it. If you don't, you can have our language assessment test through Skype, together with one of our language professors who will certify your language proficiency. And then there's the admission interview to test your motivation and your attitude towards the course you intend to join. The admission interview is based on your portfolio or project assignment. After this final step, you receive the admission confirmation and you will be then ready to enroll. Then, another question. I don't know if we have time for this one, but if we have, would be interesting because a student asked if we can show very quickly another project realized by our students or by a group of students recently.
We have something physical if you want.
Yeah, we have many actually. If we have to make it very quick, I don't know.
Let's try to grab a book from there. We explain you a project of photography, but one project is here in the middle of us.
Yes, we do have
this lamp that you see here and the big head over there, it's a project made a couple of months ago. Venice, the city of Venice, had a flood emergency. Some of our students made a special project by collecting all the books ruined by the water, and they involved the teachers and students at the end, asking them to give a new life to this book. They made amazing art piece. You can check Libri Contro Corrente on Instagram if you want to see everything. This lamp, for example, it was a book ruined by the water, and now it's an amazing lamp with the letter A and V, but it was a book to throw away, and all the money our students collected from the selling of this masterpiece were donated to Fondazione Querini Stamparia in order to help Venezia to rise again from the high flood. So this project was multidisciplinary, started from some graphic design student, but it involved students from every department and faculty of IED, more than 100 pieces of art. Please, Carlotta.
And yes, this is again the great example of the importance of ideas, like this is a graphic design, student that thought about this great project, and it's, you couldn't really relate this to graphic design, at first sight. So we have several, numerous projects that are very different from one another, and it's very hard to just resume and kind of sum up our all experience with just one example. But I brought two different things. One is this is actually a very simple and self-produced kind of project, which is actually the result of a workshop that graphic design and photography students did together during one important festival of contemporary art and independent publishing. They actually worked together with a creative duo, which is amazing, that is called Obelo, and together with Archipelago Project and Magali Evesu, and they actually designed a whole workshop experience that was meant to be delivered to the visitor of this incredible art fair in Base in Milano. It's called the Art Chapter. So they actually created 3 installation points with several actions that the visitors had to kind of perform during this art fair. And they actually planned and kind of designed this installation, and they took pictures, of course, and they created these small booklets that they printed and kind of made up during the process and during the visitor's presentation. Okay, it's very hard to show like this, but it's self-printed, it's self-made, it's binded with a fastener, so it's something that you can do in very short time, but it's really effective because it's actually the sum up of the 3 installation, and it brings out all the actions that the visitor were performing.
Maybe we can move to the table.
Yeah, maybe,
I don't know
sure.
if my camera can come. Vlad, give us a 30 seconds. Can we?
Yes, sure.
Here on the table, we have tons of projects. We have not enough time, so feel free to set up with us a motivational call, and we're going to explain you better. But we have any kind of project from packaging design. This is a. Oh, sorry, Carlotta. This is
1 minute.
Yes, this is a packaging design, for example, from the packaging course dedicated to a brand of sunglasses. We have more exciting projects, like this was a research against to investigate the difference between news and satire. So 2 students from the 3rd year make this book about why the people trust more in satire and comedy than real information. And they made an entire book about this topic, totally not just made by them in terms of design, but also in terms of content. So they make interview to comedians, they make interview to journalists, and they ended up with an interactive book. Every part of this book, you can use also an application, not with me right now. If you point to a page, it becomes a video. I can show you right now, but if you go on the Behance page, you can see better this project.
Well, here I have like a great fashion portfolio, which is actually made up as a book, but it contains several fashion editorials that were shot in our fashion, in our photography studio, which is actually amazing. And it's a combination of course, fashion, but also research, because it's not the, like, let's say, the conventional approach to fashion that you can explain. And this sums up exactly what I was telling you before. So the combination of a cultural environment and cultural knowledge, again, with technical and practical skills that are known at their best. So this is a pretty thick example of this.
Yeah,
thank you.
We have not enough time, so I invite you to check our galleries on the website or our Behance to see more projects from the courses.
Or get in touch with us later.
Okay, our time is over. Thank you very much for your attention and participation. I hope you found some inspiration today, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. So I wish you a very good day, and keep staying with us and enjoy the open day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.